Well, as more disaster funds become available in the weeks and months ahead for Maui, the transparency over pandemic-related federal aid is being more closely scrutinized, especially as some local governments have drawn backlash over some of the designated projects. Correspondent Evyn live for us in Washington with these details. Evyn.
Hi, Natasha. That's right. As more disaster aid is being sent out, there's fresh criticism over how the last batch of federal funding was spent. In 2021, President Biden signed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, sending $350 billion to states, counties, cities, and other local governments. Now there's questions about how this money is being spent, if at all. According to reports, about 6,300 cities and counties, nearly 1 in 4 nationwide, reported no expenditures using these funds as of this spring. For example, in Joplin, Missouri, a town ravaged by a deadly tornado in 2011, has $13.8 million in pandemic relief funds that have not been spent or even budgeted this far. And as of this spring, only 43% of aid funding had been spent, although that number jumps above 75% when factoring future projects that have been approved but not yet paid for. But in many of these cases, controversy over what they are spending aid money on is having officials backpedaling. In Dutchess County, New York, plans to use stimulus money on renovations to a baseball stadium were canceled after public outcry. In Alabama, a lawsuit may prevent the state from moving forward with its plans to spend $400 million of pandemic funding on new prisons there. And in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a backlash over a 29-story luxury hotel that, after moving money around, was essentially built using $140 million in federal aid. Some Republican congressmen argue this is a misuse of federal funds. However, Broward County, Florida officials released a statement defending the hotel at the time, saying in part, for a planned expansion or upgrade of tourism, travel, and hospitality facilities delayed due to the pandemic, the county's headquarters hotel project clearly meets this guidance. State and local governments must spend the money they received by the end of next year, so a lot of spending still to come. And as more disaster funds are expected in the weeks and months ahead for the devastation in Hawaii, how these funds are used is becoming top of mind, Natasha.
Certainly, and we appreciate you doing the deep dive. Evyn, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.